You're watching Steelers Talk, and what we got for you today is the biggest winners and losers after the Pittsburgh Steelers' big-time win over the Jacksonville Jaguars in their second preseason game, moving to 2-0. Now, if you were looking for a lot of fireworks, a lot of scoring, you didn't quite get that. I will say I was impressed by the quarterback play in today's game, but when you look at the Steelers, you look at the Jaguars, Pittsburgh came out on top 16-15. And if this was a regular season game, what I would look to say at all of you is it wasn't pretty, but a win is a win. And I'm going to have that exact same mindset even though it is a preseason game. When you look down there below, some of the leaders in today's game, Mason Rudolph, 17-21, 127 yards and a touchdown. You got Durant, 1 carry for 7 yards. Let's just be real. The running backs, the offensive line, not great. Tyler Vaughn led the team with the most targets. Also 4 catches, 56 yards. On the Jags side, Trevor Lawrence, the former number 1 overall pick, 14-21 for 133. Travis Etienne did not play last season. He's one of my fantasy sleepers. Y'all held him to 8 carries for 29. And then Tim Jones, 5 for 70. So here's your opportunity, because here at Steelers Talk, all of our chat sports content, I love talking sports. My family, my entire life, it's all we have ever done. And you know what? I consider y'all my family here. If you watch chat sports content, you're a part of my family. So don't leave me hanging. I want you to grade the Steelers' performance versus the Jags, A, B, C, D, or F. I'm going to be throwing out some A's. I'm also going to be throwing out some D and F's, because after all, this is winners and losers. So I am a glass half full type of dude. So I figured, you know what? We're going to start here with the Pittsburgh Steelers winners up against Jacksonville. Even though that there wasn't a lot of scoring, I can also point the finger and say, well, Pittsburgh didn't have a lot of their key position players out there, but they are right now probably one of the most entertaining teams to watch in the preseason because of the quarterback battle. And not only is it just a QB versus QB battle, this is a three-way. This is a three-way I'm trying to get in, right? So Mitch Trubisky, 5 of 8, newly signed quarterback this offseason with 60 yards. Mason Rudolph, 17-21 for 127. Touchdown, and he didn't throw an interception, so he had a touchdown. Kenny Pickett, 6 of 7 for 76 yards. He also had 1 touchdown, no interception. So the QBs didn't throw any picks. When you look at some of those numbers there, when you're top to bottom, I mean, who's the worst quarterback on the roster right now? Not named Oladokun, right? So when you talk about Trubisky, when you talk about Rudolph, when you talk about Pickett, I think Pickett's going to be the future of this organization. You're moving on from a great legend and Big Ben, which I remember the day Ben was drafted. I got a lot of family in Pittsburgh, and I got a lot of family in Pennsylvania, and they were like, who the hell is this big guy out of Miami, Ohio? I was like, you know what? He's actually going to be pretty damn good. But then I am a believer when you see players playing in these type of games, the guy that usually gets the most reps is usually the quarterback that they're trying to show off to other teams, trying to create a market for him. And after today's game for Mason Rudolph, I think that there was a market created for him. And that's going to be my answer. He's the worst quarterback. Let's go to the next winner here, and I'm excited because I loved DeMarvin Leal when he first came out at Texas A&M. Struggled a little bit at the combine like most of the Aggies did, but he showed up and he played well in today's game, because when you want a defensive tackle, I want somebody repping who's just mean, who's nasty, and in the game against the Jags, he had 2 tackles, 1 tackle for loss. He had a sack, a quarterback hit, was really able to, I think, show his interior presence, disrupt a little bit, because you know that guys like TJ Watt are going to step up. You know that they're going to be able to get pressure from some of these other star players. But Leal in today's game against Jacksonville, 2 tackles, a tackle for loss, a sack, and a quarterback hit. Let's go to the next winner here up against the Jags. Got to give a shout-out to Justin Layne. In the preseason, it's about when you have opportunities to get on the field. Like TJ Watt was in the game for, 8 snaps, came away with a sack. We know he's safe. When you talk about some of these roster bubble type of candidates, you don't get too many opportunities. So when your number's called, you got to show up and you got to make plays. And Layne did that. 2 tackles, a PBU, and he had a pick. Took that pick for 34 yards. Anytime you're a young player trying to make a name for yourself, these are the opportunities that, I'm sorry, you just simply have to take advantage of. So major shout out there to Justin Layne. If you want to be a big-time winner, guess what? I'm all about deals. Like, if I go to a grocery store, if I go to a supermarket, if I go to anywhere to shop for clothes, the first place I'm going to that clearance rack, or I'm looking for that thing that says an awesome sale. Like, if I see buy one, get one free, I'm there. This is better than buy one, get one free. So if you go to chatsports.com/bet, BetUS, the number one place to put down all your sports bets this entire season. NFL preseason, NFL regular season, NBA, MLB, I don't care what it is. I wouldn't bet on the Pirates right now, though. Use promo code Steelers125. That's going to get you 125% deposit bonus. When I told you it was a great deal, if you put down $100, you actually can get $125 for free to bet with. You want to be a big baller? Put down $500, get $625 for free to bet with. Imagine a world where you get a pizza, and the pizza guy gives you another pizza and then some extra slices on top of that. That's how good of a deal this is from BetUS, so shout out to them. So now we talked about some winners. It's time now to look at some of the losers. And I would say one of the biggest issues for this team entering the offseason, not named quarterback, was the offensive line. It was the performance that they did yesterday. You know, in that movie where you watch a guy and they make the really deep noise, it's like, that's how it was the entire game watching these guys. So I wasn't really impressed. If you want to be able to run the football and create that just dominating effect with Najee Harris, pass blocking wasn't awful. But I want to go back to good old-fashioned Pittsburgh Steelers football where you dominate in the running game, you rely on a great defense, and you're not going to put too much pressure on your QB because I think Trubisky can be a good QB. He's a game manager. I think Kenny Pickett can be a good quarterback. But being a rookie stepping into this thing right away, that's a lot of pressure. Najee Harris has the opportunity, maybe not this year, but in a year from now, I really truly believe this, where people start putting Harris into that conversation of that big physical back like a Derrick Henry. Somebody who you can give 300, 350 touches to, a true bell cow. But if you don't have an offensive line that can block and people laugh at your physicality in the trenches, it's not going to happen. I'm sorry. And Najee, he's not going to be able to stay as healthy. So how about this, y'all? What's your confidence level in the offensive line? I want you to scale for me from 1 to 10. 1 being you're not confident in it at all. 10 being this is the best offensive line in football. You're kidding yourself if you put anything over a 5. Let's go to the running back positions here, and I'm just going to name all of them again. Losers. And this is definitely a balancing act, right? Like a seesaw where, all right, if the offensive line's bad, running backs are probably not going to be great either. And Mitch, people are like, dude, Najee didn't play. You're right, but you know what? 14 carries, 24 yards. Running backs in general in this game, it was like 3 for 9 yards. It was not a pretty performance. And I can also say, if I'm the Pittsburgh Steelers right now, maybe I don't focus so much on the running game because I knew my offensive line couldn't do it, which, okay, fair enough. You knew Najee Harris is going to be your top running back. But here's the other thing. I want to see what my quarterbacks could do, and I think that's what Pittsburgh is doing in the preseason. So running backs had literally nothing going on the ground, but I do think that is not saying it's on purpose, right? No coach ever goes out there, designs a game plan, and like, all right, we're purposely going to try to fail. I do think what you've seen, though, thus far is they want to see what they got in Mason Rudolph. They want to see what they got in Mitch Trubisky. They want to see what they got in Kenny Pickett because, yeah, you can win preseason games, but let's be real, it's more important what happens in the regular season. So the passing game, though, continues to look good. Running game continues to struggle, but I do have one more loser for y'all. But how about this? Before I reveal my last loser, you guys go down in the comment section right now. Who do you think was the biggest loser versus Jacksonville? You could probably throw out a few different names there. I have been very, very, I'll say generic thus far. You could look at a few different names, but be honest with me. Who do you think has been the biggest loser against the Jags? Let's go to the final name here, and it's Tre Norwood. Remember how earlier in the show I said opportunities, there's not a ton of opportunities in the preseason and you need to make the most of them, especially on a defense that is loaded as Pittsburgh. Norwood just missed too many tackles. And I do think sometimes missed tackles get pushed under the rug a little bit because it's a lot more difficult to see them, where if there was a wide receiver out there on the field and he dropped a pass or two, everybody would talk about it. Why? Because it's easier to see. So I'm putting Norwood on blast. He needs to be better. Missed way too many tackles in this game. We do have a little bit of an injury update, though. Calvin Austin, he was out against Jacksonville with a foot injury. If anything ends up getting more information on this, remember to hit that subscribe button. Remember that you guys can always tune in to the shows that we are doing. So if you haven't already, now that it's the end of the show, hit that sub button, turn on those notifications. And if you are already, wow, that's tough to say, are already sub, take that link that you see down there below, send it to some Steelers fans. We'd appreciate it.